Mr. James Sixsmith.
What's up, fellas?
I want to ask, when you were trading, what were you trading?
Do you think being a professional hockey player helped you as a trader or hurt you? There's also been talk about you and the other owners coming together and coming up with your own in-house regulatory system. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean,
customer support is dog shit, and they only answer at like 7 a.m. James, what are we doing about this?
this is a great one. I knew this was coming first.
Welcome back to the Traders and Haters podcast, the absolute worst trading podcast in the entire world. I'm your boy, Thebigdaddymax, with the one and only Llama Red Pajama, Mr. Sober Pay to Play. And today we have a very special podcast for you, number 17. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready to meet the powerhouse that is on and off the ice, the titan of trading, from lighting up the rink as a professional hockey player to dominating the financial world. He gives the same grit, focus, and fire to the markets, the mastermind behind Take Profit Trader, where traders are built, not born. A player, a coach, a warrior of wealth. Give it up for the one and only Mr. James Sixsmith.
What's up, fellas? Thanks for having me, man. I always look forward to these, especially I hear you guys are hockey guys. So
you heard that we're hockey guys?
Yeah, well, I heard you guys are big Panthers fans. Is that true?
Okay, real quick.
Yeah.
First question of the interview. Who's winning the Stanley Cup?
Oh man, we got one of the guys at TPT I played college hockey with. He's from Saskatchewan. He's a huge Oilers fan. So if I said anything other than the Oilers right now, he'd be pissed. But
is he here? Is he here watching?
I don't know if he's here. His name is
Fuck
Matt.
him.
What's his name?
Matt Wary is his name.
Matt,
I don't think he's here. He might be, but
or
anyway.
if he's not Matt, you're gay. Florida Panthers and Florida Panthers in 5, baby. We're not going to 7 this time. Florida Panthers in 5. Yeah.
Right.
You know, I'm from the DC area, so I'm a big Caps fan. So after the Caps got just embarrassed by Carolina, I was hoping that Carolina would actually put up a fight with Florida.
Hey, they just won their first ECF game in 19 years. You were a rookie when they won their last ECF. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that is crazy because I'm old.
Yeah,
but,
you are from Virginia, right? Virginia.
I'm from Northern Virginia. So like, you're from Virginia, and you say you're from, you either you segregate yourself whether you're from Northern Virginia or the rest of Virginia. That's just the way we. So yeah, I'm from about 15 miles outside DC.
Right. I mean, a hockey player, badass. That is so. I mean, yeah, huge Cats fan here. My whole family, huge Cats fans. Been, for a long time. Grew up right down the street from their practice facility, and not even 10 minutes away from the state of the rink. So, pretty badass to see after all these years.
I'll say that rink's a shithole, though, man. Like what
Amarant?
Yeah, the rink they played. I went to the finals a couple of years back, and I was like, damn, this was like an American League rink compared to. And I know your users don't know, but American Hockey League is like, let's call it AAA for baseball. It's right. I played about 100 games in that league, and like you play in buildings like that. That doesn't look like an NHL arena when you're inside. But I digress a little bit.
Let's talk about that real quick. You were in the American Hockey League and you put in a decent number. I get like your average,
shit numbers.
Yeah, okay. I didn't want to say, but you put up dog shit numbers. Yeah, you were terrible.
Yeah, you were pretty ass.
And then in 2009, you go to the ECHL for the Utah Grizzlies and drop fucking almost 70 points that year. What?
Yeah. So the thing is, there's nuances, and I mean, we could sit here and talk hockey stories forever, and you guys would probably enjoy some of the shit I've seen, but the thing about it's a business, right? So you come in as a player. I was undrafted and I was small, and that's okay. Like you get a shot, but your window's a bit smaller.
What do you mean by small? What do you mean by small?
Like I'm 5'8". My playing weight was just over 170 pounds. So since I wasn't a big NHL prospect, the way you've got to make it is you've got to go up from ECHL to the American League. But I remember a conversation vividly I had when I was just out of college. I was 23 and I was doing pretty well. I was playing well, and they called me in and said, Sixer, you you're playing well and you're outplaying these guys. But remember, we just signed this guy. This guy's name was Robin Figren. I love Figgy to death. He's a Swede. He was at the time 19. They had just drafted him in the first round. They're like, hey, Figgy's 19. Like, you're better than him now, but this is a business. In like 4 years, we hope Figgy's better than you. And that's just kind of the way that just is.
Right.
And you can't blame them. I mean, they were right too. Like, Figgy was better than me when he was 23. So
they're trying to hoist the cup, and they got to think about the future, right?
So you can't just think about like, okay, you're better than him now. It's like, how old are you? And that's why I ended up going to Europe, because I had those good years in the ECHL, and I had shown everything I needed to show. But then I was like a year too older. So now I'm 25, 26. Now I'm really old balls, for the American Hockey League.
Yeah.
And I'm not a big NHL prospect. So at that point, the European teams know that, hey, like, there's this kid, he's pretty good. Like, we could offer him 5 times more money than he's making over there, and he'll take it because he knows he's fucked. And that's exactly what happens.
Right.
And like, again, it's a business. Like, so they get good players. They get good players now that are kind of on the brink of being in the NHL that maybe haven't got a great shot. And again, I'm not saying that if I were good enough, guys, I would have made it. Like, that's the reality. I'm not here saying that I got screwed or I got injured. It's not. It's a business, and like, I had a small window and I had to play a lot better than I played, and that's the bottom line.
Right. Yeah, the league is getting very
stop loss hit.
Stop loss got hit. Yeah, sorry. Cut your losses. Get this guy out of here. He's fucking 5'8".
Exactly.
The guy's 5'8" with his
5'8", 160.
He's 5'8" with his skates on. That's what he wasn't telling you.
Yeah,
I haven't had that build since I was 12 years old.
Yeah, that's
surprised you made it that far.
So that's pretty.
Anyway, that's enough about my hockey career. But I hadn't, by the time I went, this will segue into the next part, which I'm sure we're going to talk about here. But when I got off the plane to Germany, my first year, it's called the Deutsche Ice Hockey League. It's the best league in Germany, one of the best leagues in Europe. I remember getting off the plane being like, damn, like, I'm not going to play in the NHL. Like, what am I going to do? And like, a month after that is when I started my trading journey, and that was in 2010, like at the end of 2010. So like, I wouldn't be here either if I hadn't done that, because like, I would have thought that I was going to play in the NHL and nobody was going to tell me I wasn't, and that was the start of like my trading career. And fuck that I have no idea what I was in for the first 5 years, but
So you were trading in Europe.
I was trading in Europe, because what was happening, guys, is when I got there, remember, I was practicing, and I played in Cologne, Germany. If you've ever been there, it's a fucking awesome city. But we would practice at 10 o'clock in the morning. I'd be home at noon on most days from practice. It's 6 a.m. Eastern. So like, I've got the rest of the day, like the rest of the American day. So the markets aren't even close to being open yet. So I basically have all day to practice. So I had a job that was paying me really well. And I had something I had to do. Like, I wasn't married at the time, didn't have any kids, so I could do 2 things, and go out and hang out with the boys all the time, which I did too. But like, I had a lot of a lot of beers and a lot of fun, but I also had a lot of downtime when you incorporate the time change. So we were 6 hours ahead over there. So I got basically the whole trading day in front of me to learn a new skill. And it was, something that I was really lucky to be able to have. And when I'm talking to your users, the last thing I'd ever tell somebody is like, quit your job and start trading. You've kind of got to do it by side with something while you still have some income.
Yeah, we say the same. We think
right.
it's absolutely retarded to quit your job and try and go for trading right away. Like, you need to replace that income, have years of safety net, and like, really, I didn't take like the jump into full trading until I had not only replaced my income, but I was doing it monthly for quite a while. And then I was like, I'm ready to go. But let me ask you this. We'll jump into the trading, and then we're gonna dive right into TPT. I mean, as you can tell, I'm actually the part owner of TPT, guys. You could see I have my TPT hoodie on. I have my branded merch. You could see. So
I didn't get one of those, by the way.
I
don't know if you sent it to the wrong. I don't know if you sent it to the wrong address.
So and Mr. Llama here. He actually.
Oh wait, hold on, Max. Before anything, I just wanted to welcome you. Congratulate. Thank you for being here. Thank you for giving us your time. Welcome. you're pretty ass at hockey, but we do appreciate you for being here. We're gonna have a great podcast. I do this with everyone, guys. Chat, you guys know what time it is. First one always gets chugged. Cheers with the chat. James, we appreciate you for being here.
Yeah, thanks.
Let's have a good
boys.
one, guys.
Mine's water. I drink bubble water. I don't drink alcohol. The llama's an idiot. All right, Sixer, real quick. Gotta talk to you. Do you think being a professional hockey player helped you as a trader or hurt you?
It definitely helped. I mean, I think grit, you guys have probably heard me say this before, but the grit is so important because trading is so fucking hard. And
Yeah.
I apologize for my language. It seems like you guys curse a little bit
You
too.
can
and
say
it's-
whatever you want here. We're gonna make you look like a
Zero filter.
yeah on the edit. You can say whatever you want. We'll edit it. It's like it never happened. So you're good.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I mean it's okay. I mean, I think part of what resonates with people about me, if anything, is that I'm just like a normal guy, and I kind of say it like it is. And I think that being an athlete, you just learn so much perseverance and doing things that are really hard. Trading is. I always say that I think trading, being a full-time, like profitable trader, is harder than being a professional athlete. And people think, oh, that's just hyperbole.
No,
It's an argument.
It's true.
It's an argument. And I've done both, and it's an
Right.
argument.
So is Llama. He is a professional food eater. He goes and competes at the Nathan's hot dog contest every year, but they just wind up throwing hot dogs at him. It's so strange. He actually doesn't get to eat very many.
weird.
They just throw food
Yeah.
at him, and you may see him. He's all the way on the left of stage sometimes. So check out Llama. He's been a professional athlete as well as a trader. You actually said, James, grit is the most important attribute of a good trader because the markets will punch you in the face. That's the quote. Because the markets really will punch you in the face, and I'm sure you've had your fair share of that being a hockey guy. And what about grit? What about grit that stood out to you the most, like switching into as a trader?
I think it's. I always say that when you've been in like a dressing room in a professional, or really any high level thing, so it could be like a really stressful job, you kind of get used to dealing with being let down a lot. So like in trading, at least in my experience, I'd get these moments where I'd be like, fuck, I made it, boys. Like I figured it out. And then like you have a shit 3 days and you feel like, man, like I thought I had it. Now like you start to question yourself and all of these doubts come in. It's like, hey, am I actually good enough for this? And so the ability to be able to persevere through that and have the grit to be like, you know what? I am good enough to do this. Like I've shown that I can do this. It's just a couple bad days, and to be able to believe in yourself enough and your strategy enough to keep going, because everything works and nothing works. And I spent a lot of time thinking when I had a couple bad days, I need to change my strategy. And what I found actually through prop, and we'll probably get to it, is it wasn't necessarily that. It was I was grossly underfunded. And when I took some real big lumps early on. So naturally, like I tried to get closer to the market. I tried to start getting tighter with my stops, and I actually just started to do worse. Right. And so again, like this is my whole, kind of journey as a trader, figuring out what worked for me and, how I kind of, what helped me turn the corner and be like, hey, there's guys out there like me that think that they can't do this because their strategy isn't good enough. And it's really not that, right? A lot of times.
What strategy did you dive into when you started trading back in those days? What strategies were you using?
So I was using like a very simple moving average crossover with pretty, tight targets and stops. And that was back in like, I would say 2010 to 2013, 14, where to be frank, like it was actually easier to make money then than it is now because there was less algorithmic trading. There was less computers.
So much easier. Yeah.
The closer you get to the market, guys, like you're going to hear me say this probably 50 times a day and you're going to want to punch me. The closer you get to the market, the harder it gets because you're competing with people with a lot better technology than you, no matter how good you think your computer is or your algorithm is or whatever, and a lot more money a lot of times, right? So these market makers, they go deep, man, deep. And so, yeah, that's how I was trading at first. And then, as it got harder to do that, even though like I got better at doing that, right? So I would start to say, okay, like I would have normally taken this trade, but now I've learned to maybe not take these ones and take these ones more, and you get better, but still it was getting harder and harder and harder on a small time frame. So what I did naturally was backed away from the market a little bit, allowed myself to have a bit bigger stop, and found that I wasn't getting chopped up as much in the noise. Okay.
Right.
And now that strategy is not for everybody. And there are people here that are way smarter than me, way better than me. I promise you that. But it's what worked for me. And that's another message today is like, it's not my way might not work for you, but you've got to kind of find your way. And, and I did that.
Trading is the most individual career in the world. I've said it a million times. And I started trading options in 2018. And back then, I tell people all the time, it was so much different back then. You could put a couple $1,000s in call options, and 2 weeks later, you doubled or tripled your money. And the
Mhm.
SP 500 SPY only needed to move $1, and your contracts would be up 300 or 400%. Whereas today, if SPY moves $1, your fucking theta might crush you. You might not even go green on the damn trade because of the volatility and because of the way the markets are now. So, absolutely. I mean, look at the futures markets. Besides yesterday, Memorial Day, where everyone was off, we're seeing 50, 60 point candles in a minute like nothing now, like
Yeah.
absolutely nothing. And people are loving the futures markets, and the market today. The volatility also adds like a little bit of spice, a little bit of flair, especially in the new prop market world that we're living in. Like futures came in like a fucking tidal wave 2-3 years ago, and it is taking over, over the industry a lot, including myself. And people have made the full-time transition. I still sell options for a living, so I'm a full-time option seller. I've been full-time since 2018, but I have been also, the other part of that is stacking profits with futures trading, and that's my bread and butter. I like to fund my futures trading through option selling. And
So do you trade your, and just curious, because I always like talking to smart people in the markets, and we can talk about that later too, about the people in my circle that I talk to about the global landscape and all that. But do you hedge out of your options risk because you're a seller in with just kind of like the big dealers do, where you hedge out of your positions and your exposure when you sell in futures? Is that how you, or do you
not
just
not No, not necessarily in futures. No, I
okay?
scalp primarily, whereas I day trade or swing trade my option selling techniques. But I
Okay.
can adjust my options as needed to hedge risk. Being more aggressive in the money versus out of the money, and going for a
Yeah.
price target and intrinsic value gains versus premium grabs and stuff like that.
Yeah. That's clear. That's
Yeah,
awesome, man. I
the
think that's
futures
incredible.
market, I am, in bed, I probably last like 30, 40 seconds, but in scalping, I probably last like 15. I am the fastest scalper in the game. I am in and
Okay.
out.
You
Yeah.
can't do that now because it moves a lot. Like you said, when the vol rises, I mean, you're seeing these rips.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an awesome time to be a trader.
It really is. We're living through history, and I think everyone needs to enjoy it. Win or lose, win or lose, you should enjoy the fuck out of what we're doing, because we're literally trading through the craziest period of human history from 2020 until now. It hasn't stopped or slowed down. It's just getting crazier and better and more fun, and I love it every damn day. It's
Mhm.
absolutely amazing. It's amazing. So,
I
um,
want to ask, when you were trading, what were you trading?
Yeah, sorry, that's a great question. I cut my teeth in the ES, and I'm a ES on the back of my eyelids kind of guy. Like you guys can see the
Hmm.
options in your sleep. Like I can see ES moving in my sleep. So I can tell you that the vast majority of our traders trade NQ. You don't
oh
see
yeah,
ES
Hmm.
nearly as popular as it used to be, again, because it's slower. Like ES is like the bonds used to be. People are like, I ain't trading the bonds. That shit's too slow. So that's, the way
right.
that the ES is now, but I still know the ES the best. And, naturally, as you get better, you can start to, you kind of know how things work. And you're like, yeah, like I got a position on in crude oil, pretty big position on in crude oil right now, because I just kind of know how things move, and I like to trade. And it's a, multi-day or multi-week swing trade. It's not doing great right now, but
My
it's,
biggest fumble ever was crude oil. I will
when
I
it went
will
negative.
forever. When it went fucking negative, and during COVID, I
Yeah.
went in heavy, heavy on crude oil. I was like, this is gonna go back to its normal barrel price, and it's gonna go back quick. And I did the mistake of doing options instead of self-funded futures, and I wind up just getting beat down by time decay. But then obviously it ripped to the upside, but I got smoked. And that was my biggest fumble ever. To this day, I think it would have been like a $700,000 gain. So I'm pretty damn pissed about that. But
I think that this is important too to talk about is that you're talking about your losses. I'm sitting here telling you like I had I fumble fucked Nvidia, like some single name stocks, which I don't really mess around with that much. But
right,
no matter how good you get, you're gonna have these things happen. Like I know I play golf with a couple guys that end up in the hedge fund world, and like some of these guys are blowing up, and they've got like $4 billion under
yeah,
under management. So anybody that's sitting here watching this thinking that everybody's got it figured out and you're the only one that doesn't, like that's only hurting you thinking that. Like you got to listen to people who are doing it. Like, hey, I got my fucking ass kicked today. Like it's okay.
only on only on social media do you see 90% of these dog shit social media gurus fucking and I've never lost. I drive all the fancy cars and shit. I'm like, that's bullshit. If you ain't popping accounts like Skittles, you're not a real trader, baby. You know what I mean? Like we're in here fucking doing this. We're really doing this. It's an investment. It's an investment in yourself and in your trading. And if you're not out here fucking blowing them things, I mean, you're not living in today's trading world. That's for sure. Let me ask you this. So you're a hockey player living in Europe, and you start trading EMA crossovers, and you're crushing gold and all ES and all of that. And like, did you always want to start a company? Were you like, I'm gonna do this like full time, or how did you even hear about the prop space? I heard you say
it's a great question too. I mean, I know where you're going, so I don't mean to cut you off, but like I learned from a guy that was doing this, and I said, guys, like what you're teaching works now, but like it needs to adapt with the market. Like this was at the time when everybody was selling things that wasn't worth a shit. And he was actually, the guy that I learned from, he's still a good friend, but had really kind of figured it out and then left the education world, and it was kind of like bummed out whether he was going to get back in the education world. And I'm like, look, the money's not going to be in education, because by that time Top Step Trader had come up. The money's going to be in finding good traders and doing the funding thing, because nobody wants to go like pay $10,000 from somebody to teach them. They're not even trading the shit themselves, and going down that route. So I kind of saw, because remember, I was a proprietary trader, but not in the conventional sense, not through Top Step or any of those places. I was more of a guy I played hockey with, played in the NHL. He was like, Sixer, you're really good at this. Like, let me give you some money, because he had played like 300 games to the Rangers and the Ducks and stuff. And so we started crushing it, right? So it was like, hey, we could find more people like you, and we could start one of these places that does it better than, XYZ firm, right?
Right.
And the other thing is on this call, and you'll never hear me talk shit about any of the other firms, because
do it.
they all do their own thing, right? I didn't hear you, bud.
Do it. Talk shit about them. Do it.
But we thought that we could do it better. So what happened was, from there, I went and did some consulting with a firm to kind of like set up their funding thing, and it didn't work out because they wanted to do like kind of different rules. I didn't really agree with it. So then I just said, fuck it. I didn't really have a lot of money, but we started small, and we really were the first one to do this like daily payout thing. I thought that was a big thing, because what I hated was when we actually made money, and they were like, yeah, hold on a second. Let me wait 2 weeks to give it to you. I'm like, what the fuck? What is that?
I think you guys are the only ones that really are doing daily payouts, where at the end, I don't think so. And I remember hearing about you guys a long time ago. I've been in this space a while, and I remember hearing about this prop firm, daily payouts, and all this shit. And then I was so perplexed by the business model that I was like, there's no way that's going to work. daily payouts. I've never heard of this. Like, you can't do daily payouts. These other guys have 2-week windows, so they can.
Yeah.
So they're like bookies. You know, you collect the loser money on Tuesday, you pay the winners on Wednesday. You're like a bookie. But I'm like, these people are doing it every day. How does that even make sense? But you guys, you really kind of changed and innovated, and not only are you making it work, but holy shit, TPT is going to the top, baby. So like, how does that? How did you transition into we're doing something for the first time, and it's a home run?
Methodically is the answer. Is we have a great data team, right? So you'll hear me say this a lot, is we're never the first, because like a lot of times in the prop world, people chase each other around and then have to like reel back in the rule change that they just made because they realize they just got screwed on the backside. Like you said, they don't bring in
Right.
enough Tuesday to pay out the guys on Wednesday. So like, hold on, let's stop doing that. So we have a great that's one of our secrets, I would say, is we're not first. We see what's going on in the market. We stay to ourselves. We do a lot of analytics because we've got a lot of data, right? And then we know what'll work for us. That doesn't mean that we're the biggest, nor does it mean that we're the most profitable or anything like that. But again, we've just grown by trying to do our best for the customer. And I want to talk about some stuff later today with you guys about things that are coming to get us.
Oh yeah, we're gonna dig into that, baby. We're
Yeah.
interested. You already know I have some questions for you, Mr. Sixer. And if you want to get into the hard stuff, I mean, we're ready. This ain't gonna be no snowball here. Big Daddy Max, I got a rep to keep here. I ask the people. Of course, anytime I have a CEO or high profile person like yourself in our industry coming on the pod or the Big Daddy Morning Show, I ask the people, what do we ask this guy, right? Like, what do we get? We have a CEO here of one of the dopest and biggest firms that we love trading. We give out TPT accounts almost every day because it is the best product for us to give out. People love when we do it every day. We've given out, what's the total we've given out right now? This isn't just TPT, but since January 4th,
107.
we've given out $107,000 in giveaways, and most of them, product-wise for quantity, has been TPT accounts. Every month, Llama and I give together our TPT accounts because you guys also do something that nobody else does with the give backs to the affiliates. You give back, hey, give this to your community here. Give this to your community here when we hit our quotas or whatever it may be. So that's also something that you guys do that I don't see anywhere else. And it's so great because it allows us to give back to the community. And that's huge for us. And when we asked the community, James, they were like, I got hit with all kinds of crazy shit. And when we funneled it down, we got asked, there was 3 major questions that they're like, ask fucking James this. All right. Are you ready? We're gonna throw the hard one. We're gonna throw the hard ones your way, baby. Are you ready?
I know what they are before we even throw them, but let's do it.
I already know you do. All right, here we go. I'm just gonna make a statement and then you can reply. Number 1, customer support is dog shit. And they only answer at like 7 a.m. James, what are we doing about this?
This is a great one. I knew this was coming first, and it deserves to come first. So we started by having the best customer service, and now it's slipped a little bit. But I want to explain. Some of you, I don't know if I was on a podcast a couple months ago, and I began to explain how this happens and what we're doing about it. So when I want to talk about the downstream effect, and then later the next question we'll talk about what's coming and how it's going to fix that. So
Right.
the downstream effect of what happens is, first of all, it's on me, okay? Where when we changed a couple rules to make the traders better, I underestimated how much the people were going to like it, right? So when we took away daily loss limit, like if we had 10 people in the door, all of a sudden we've got 30, and we didn't have enough people because we couldn't get people fast enough. So naturally, like, we were just understaffed, and we fixed that problem. But the other thing is the way that our back end is set up is we're getting reports and things from third parties. Okay, a lot of your guys use Tradeovate, familiar with these places. They're really good partners of ours. Rhythm is like, some people use the Rhythmic data feed, whatever. There's a bunch of different platforms you can use. Now, if we're gonna process daily payouts and things like this, we're taking the information that we're getting from these reports at 6 p.m. tonight, which is in 27 minutes here. Our back end is processing it, and then everybody knows that and comes at 8, 9 o'clock and say, hey, I want to take my money out, because again, we do daily payouts. So what happens if that report is wrong? Well, a couple things. First of all, we got 3 times too many people, and that's on me. I said that. This is all on me, by the way. I'm not backing away from this, but we've got a lot of people, and now we've got this downstream problem where the report's not right. So everybody's going, where the fuck's my money? Why isn't the report right? Why did it take my account? The report's wrong. It liquidated me, this and that.
Your
So we've
support
got
tickets
too
are
many
going
people,
crazy.
and now we're flooded with
Right.
so we didn't even have enough people to deal with regular questions because of again, my lack of seeing how big of a change this would be and how many people would come in based on just like changing one rule. But then we get the downstream effect on top of that if everything doesn't come through perfectly, right? And we've worked with our partners about this and creating redundancies so that basically our system checks these reports before we dump them into the back end, so that we don't have to say, okay, like it says your balance is 165,000, but that's not right. Hold on a second. Like there's so much to it, and again, it creates this like log jam in customer service. And I apologize to your users. I apologize to everybody out there that's listening to this, that's been affected by it. It is a real thing. We know about it. We've staffed up. We're basically back to nobody in the unassigned queue last week. And then we had a issue with delays in account creation, again, from one of our vendors that creates tidal wave of
Right.
people coming in to support at the same time. And it really doesn't have anything to do with us. It has something to do with a third-party vendor. But ultimately, it falls on us, and that's okay, because like that's the vendor we choose to use. It should be on us. But we then, to get it fixed, need to go over here, get it fixed, come back, then go back to the customers that there's a ton of them because there's a ton of problems. And this is how it starts to snowball. And we got our guys working weekends. We've staffed up a lot, and it will be fixed. I promise you that it'll be fixed. And the next part of this is one further step of how we're fixing it is some of the new stuff that we're rolling out, and we can talk about that. I'm sure that's one of your other questions.
Yeah,
But
we're definitely gonna, yeah, absolutely gonna dig into that. I mean, that's great, and that's totally understandable. Like, and if a third party vendor messes up a report and you get slammed with how many people, like you said, are waiting for their money, and when you're dealing with money, people are gonna get very fucking impatient, right? So I can imagine you guys get smoked with tickets. I mean, and we have basically 40,000 people in my group here, and I can't imagine how many of them are opening up TPT tickets every day. I mean, just in my team here alone, I would imagine we account for almost 1,000 of those. And
yeah, I'm sure. And it's a we know about it, right? So we're not like
right,
burying our head in the sand about it. And it's something. It's our number one thing, because the customer support was one of our trademarks, and we hear it from everywhere, and we hear it because it's real. And
right.
I can fucking wear that. I can own it, and I can tell you also that I'll fix it.
Oh yeah, that's badass, and I truly believe you absolutely will. I mean, and if it's as easy as getting more some more staff and getting them trained up and working with the vendors to make sure that these reports can come in more solid, I'm sure you'll get it done. And I know once TPT solves that support issue, I mean that seems to be like the big one, right? Like that's the big one with TPT that I gathered and that most people gather, and I hear it, because we get the feel from the community as well, and we're doing TPT is one of the biggest, especially here with our team. We love TPT here. About 80 people just asked if you're hiring, if they can apply for support roles with you because of how much people love TPT here. Yeah, and
They said they'll work for an account a month.
yeah, you give a 50K. Let me get that 50K. The second biggest thing, which I was actually surprised this was the second biggest one, but when it comes to rules, obviously there's two big ones. One, the 5-day to pass, right? With 40-day consistency. Now, is that something that you guys are going to consider having separate plans and changing that in the future, or possibly doing some kind of promotions where 5-day goes down to 2 or something like that? Because it's been firm for a long time,
Yeah,
5-day to pass.
it's a good question. It's one of those things that we talked about earlier, where people lead. We look at the numbers and see what we can do there to to stay competitive. One thing that I'll say is you've got to be careful a little bit as a trader what you like. Take profit trader is not for everybody, just like Apex or Top Step and My Fun and Futures, whatever. Like everybody's got their own things, right? And some
Right.
people love like direct to funding, and that's great for somebody, and they're okay with waiting to get their money. But when we pay every day, like there's going to be always a trade-off because you can't have the best of everything. You can't have the best payout rules, the best least days to pass, because
You can't. It's impossible.
ultimately, like there's got to be some teeth where it's like, hey, we need more consistency if we're going to pay out day one, and we're going to be the the highest from. I'm hearing this from a vendor, like percentage of people in Pro Plus, right? So Pro Plus like being live market. So we're actually a path to actually putting
Right.
people in the live market. Um, it's kind of hard to put somebody in a one
Right.
day
That
to
is
pass. I get
what
why
you
the
just
It's
traders
said.
want to
impossible.
do it.
Yeah. What you just said
It's
is probably one
impossible.
of the most intelligent things I've actually ever heard from the business owner standpoint. Now, a lot of people are the consumer, right? When we're speaking about the consumer standpoint, a lot of people don't look from your eyeballs and say, we can't be the best at everything. We can't be your one day to pass, no activation fee, no DD, no trailing, no daily withdrawal. We can't do everything. We might not be the right fit for you. That's probably the most intelligent thing I've ever heard because you are a business owner and it makes sense.
And again, I think that there, as a business owner, I can say to you, what do you love? What do you love? Do you love the best rules? Like the rules are all going to have more teeth at take profit. So it's probably not the best rules you're going to get at take profit as opposed to like the competition out there. We're aware of that. And again, like you'll always hear
Right.
me owning that because it's the reality. And I think that if the consumer, as a business owner too, what I like to do is I like to sit in their shoes because I was in their shoes, right? I
Right.
Right.
was in their shoes as like as a trader. And if I ever fight with my team, I'm like, no, we're not doing that because you got to think about it through the trader's eyes. If I'm sitting there as a trader, I want the best of everything. How can I give them the best rules I can possibly give them and also look them in the eye and know that I can pay them and that I have enough money in our live accounts to put them in a live account if they get there, right? I
Absolutely.
need to be
Exactly.
I need to be here tomorrow, a week from now, a year from now, and 10 years from now. And I know that I can do that with our rules because I won't change the rule unless I know that I'm going to be able to be able to be here in 5
Absolutely.
years.
Absolutely. That's
Um,
100% smart. Well, now,
so
James, I'm not actually allowed in pro accounts anymore. I'm one of your direct to pro plus guys. I'm
mhm.
sure there's a few of us, not many, but there's a few of us, and I think that's one of the cool things. It's kind of like a trophy. I wear it as a trophy, kind of. That
Good.
I'm not allowed in pro accounts anymore with TPT. I have to go straight to Pro Plus because of the amount that I've made from TPT. And when the third thing that people were complaining about is on the pro accounts, the intraday drawdown, the trailing
Mhm.
drawdown. And the trailing drawdown, I think that's the hardest thing for most traders, which good for a business standpoint, bad for the trader. Has there been any talk internally about your trailing drawdowns on the pro accounts?
I know that there is something coming. I don't want to tease too much about removing that in a certain in a certain context. Um, in Pro Plus for sure. In the very near future, because like there are people that get the Pro Plus and they're like, hey, now I go back to intraday drawdown, and I think that that's something that we personally we need to fix, but we'll get there, right? Again, it's like
Right.
seeing a lot of data. The intraday, again, I fucking 100% get this from the traders, the traders perspective. It would be easier if the rules were like they used to be, where it was longer to pass. You had to show, we're going back to that same conversation we just had. As like most
Right.
people want to peel back the consistency rule. And in that case, like it's kind of got to be harder in pro because we just don't know. Like the less amount of time I can see you
Right.
trade, the less I know about you, the harder the rules have to be in pro. And I get the
Right.
frustration. Trust me, like I want to go end of day drawdown all the way across the board. I don't know when or if that will happen. And I will never sit here and give you a promise that intraday drawdown will be gone, sometime in 2025. I don't know. I hope it will.
Right.
But again, I need to be able to make sure that if I do that, then I don't end up with bills that I can't pay. Right.
For
And
sure.
that's the most important thing, is like the longevity and the ability to, withstand crazy markets like we're seeing right now, getting people into Pro Plus, and then, they pass in 5 days, they get through to Pro Plus, or they don't because of end of day drawdown. Then I put them in real money, and because of end of day drawdown, they're kind of YOLOing.
Right. Of course.
There's a lot more of there's a lot of YOLOing going on out there, and you can YOLO a bit more in end of day drawdown, and that's kind of the thought process behind intraday. It's like, hey, look, take the profit, show that you can make some money, and in end of day, that's why I think getting into Pro Plus is getting rid of the intraday, and again, we're working on doing that, here shortly.
Right.
Hopefully.
I think
I feel like that's the perfect answer.
I think what
Like
you're
the
saying
perfect
is,
answer. Most people like don't understand. Like, you want your wherever you're shopping, whatever prop firm you're using, you want their goal to be like, I need to pay, and that's what makes the most sense. Is like it doesn't stop anyone from YOLOing if there's no trailing.
Well,
And you don't want to just eventually get smacked up and then you can't pay.
Lama, that's a great point,
just
and I
makes the
think
most
that
sense.
the market has shifted a little bit because your guys' audience, you guys are good traders. You got 40,000 people. That's crazy. Congratulations, by the way. But, it's a different audience than it was 3 years ago. It's much more sophisticated. When I started trading and I was a trader for a couple of these firms, I won't mention them. It's people didn't even know that they thought that they were automatically funded with real money. Now, the market is so sophisticated now. Everybody knows. Everybody knows everything, and that's a good thing. And the more sophisticated the market gets, the more I think that they've understood. They're like, hey, I actually want it to be a little bit harder because then I know they can pay. As opposed to
right.
Exactly.
if people are listening to this and hear what I'm saying from the ownership side and from the business side and being like, hey, now I get it. Maybe I want to go somewhere where it might not be the best rules because I know it's more sustainable, and I'm sure that if I do make it, I'm at least going to get my money. Instead of, I need the best rules, because the best rules could be gone tomorrow, and you're owed 50 grand or whatever. You're owed 50 grand to a company that's like, see ya, I got your money.
Right, and they never pay you. I mean, yeah, I explain it to people all the time. I only trade TPT, and I brought the TPT to Max's attention.
You did.
And I would explain to people, I would explain to my students and everyone else, is that TPT, the rules that you guys have in place make you a better trader. I came from Top Step where I would try to get the 4,500 in one day, 4,500 the next day, and I pass, and then I'd get the express account, I'd just blow it. Like that 5-day pass makes you more disciplined. It makes you, when I'm trailing, when I have trailing drawdown, you have to be more disciplined. You have to be more on point. Like that makes you the better trader.
Mm-hmm.
There's just people that don't really understand, and they're trying to rush a process that they're not even at the target. I don't know.
Yeah, no,
For me, it's just a way
true.
better.
It's like the only way to make it is to be tighter and more disciplined, and then hopefully,
Of course.
we could take all the training wheels off and make a bunch of money together. That's the ultimate scenario, and yeah, I mean, you guys are saying it. I mean, I think that the market, as it still is getting more sophisticated, they start to see right through the bullshit too. Like they're at a point now where they see through the company bullshit, but they're starting to see actually the other side. And they're asking, some people are asking us to make it harder. Hey, this seems too easy. It's too good to be true. Like, are you going to be able to pay me? And I'm like,
those people are retarded. Yeah, of course, dumb. Of course.
Yeah, no, I mean that in the very best way. I mean, they're saying,
right.
I've seen companies do no daily loss, pay out in one day. Like, are you guys just trying to do a money grab and you're not going to be able to pay me? I'm like,
right.
No. Like,
there's a lot of concerns. With one of the big firms right now, locking out a bunch of traders with the live program going. That's making waves in the industry right now. Then dropping a massive sale, and so and then that raises red flags for a lot of consumers and retail people. That makes them very concerned. Is like, I'm not the Big Daddy Max. I'm not some influencer. Why am I getting banned after 5K and withdrawals and stuff like that? Like what's happening behind the scenes with this company or that company, right? So I mean,
Yeah.
that does make waves in the industry, for sure. And one thing that you guys have, which I think is absolutely genius, when it comes to the 5 data pass, when you get those pro accounts, now you guys offer pro resets. And in my mind, I'm like, am I really about to fucking go through 5 more days and make 9K on my 150s? Or am I going to drop this 1500 real quick? And I'm like, you know what? I'm dropping this 1500 real quick. And I've watched my boy Llama right here. Now I'm going to put him on blast. Llama might be one of your best customers. He might be your biggest customer, to be honest. Llama reset 3 grand in one day. He showed us. Yeah. Llama reset 3,000 in one day with one pro account because he's like, bad. I ain't fucking going for it. I'm not doing it, you know? And I think
it gets worse.
I think it's so genius.
It gets worse.
I truly do. I think it's genius. The start over psychology, James, I think is genius. And whoever designed that, I think, whichever behavioral analyst, you were like, we got them here. Yeah, we got them here. They're done. You know that. I think it's amazing, and but I also wish that every prop would allow you to pay a premium to restart a pro, to restart a funded account, and not just the straight to sim bullshit. Right? Like you worked hard, you got there. Maybe you fucked up. Every trader fucks up. Every trader blows an account. It's gonna happen. And then if they got the right to, you know, if they made enough on that account, like I have enough to, you know, I pulled enough out to just reset it. I think that's a great option. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, it's again, it's part of the business model, and again, we ran the numbers and been like, okay, you know, again, this goes back to my trading. I'm like, dude, I just proved this to you, and it used to be 10 days. To be like, I just proved this to you for 10 days. That's 2 trading weeks, so it's actually like 14 days because 10 trading days, you know, with the weekends is 14 days. Like, do I really have to go through this shit again? Like, you know,
right.
And so, you know, I think we're all in the same boat that, you know, time is our most valuable asset, and that's where that comes from, right? It's like I think a lot of people are alike, and they're like, you know what? I'm gonna reset this, and then I'm gonna, you know, take my money on day one, and then, you know, work myself up, pay myself back, and I can do that, and I don't have to wait 2 weeks. Because if you let somebody reset, but you still make them wait 2 weeks to take the payout, they're gonna be like, whatever, I'll just go back to the test.
Right. Then might as well start over. Yeah, I like to build a bunch of fundeds and then I like to get my ROI as soon as possible, you know, with a daily withdrawal. And I paid, you know, $350 for the account. I'm trying to withdraw $350 and go risk off, just like in trading. The best traders are the ones that know how to remove the risk as soon as possible. Get that risk out of there and let the fucking winners win, baby. Let it ride. And that's the same thing. And that's how I treat my props. And that's one thing that I absolutely love. Real quick, production, Nick, can we pull up this picture? We want to bust into a segment real quick, James. If you could just pull up a story, can we pull out the picture of James skating with the face? Can we just pull this one up here? And now on the internet, this is the picture that pops up most of you here. Can you see that picture? So
I was in Germany.
That was in Germany. Were you full porting ES at that time, or what was that?
Yeah, that was the beginning. That was the beginning of my ES days. That was the first game of the season. I think it was in Cologne. We were playing against our rival Dusseldorf, and I got elbowed right in the head. You know, like first shift of the game. I actually scored in that game. But yeah, that's not photoshopped. I remember, but that's
so you got smoked with an elbow. Was that what was that like what did you just get a 2-minute minor for roughing, or
I don't even think you got a penalty? You remember, I'm 5'8". I was the smallest guy in pretty much every league I played in.
Right.
So usually elbow.
Right.
You guys, when I was with when I was in the American League in Milwaukee, it was Nashville's organization. I broke my nose 14 times in 3 years. So like I had to get surgery to get it fixed before I left. And the only reason I had to do that was because if I didn't, they weren't going to pay for it. So I had to pay for it before I was out of my contract with them. So just being
that's wild.
You just kind of always at for everybody.
Did your teammates? I mean, obviously your teammates, but people in the league. I mean, you must have gotten so much shit for being 5'8" on the ice. You must have gotten like so much shit. Like Brad Marchand. Like if you're not the little prick on the ice, like Marchand is. Like I mean, he's feared. You know, people fear him.
That's why I didn't make it, Max. It's like if you're that size, Marchand's supremely, he's skilled. He's not that fast, but like the only way he can make it, like he made it because he's kind of a rat fuck out there, you know.
He's the
But he's
rat.
also can
Yeah.
score. You know, he's everybody hates him, but you love to have him on your team kind of guy. I just
Rock
wasn't
and
willing to
roll.
play that game. Like I got my ass
Right.
kicked and I fought. Like that takes a steel nutsack to play that.
Yeah, you gotta be. He's
of hockey.
grungy. He's nasty. He's a perfect
Yeah.
fit for the Rat Pack in Florida, baby. I can't believe when he came over this year. I was like, no shot. Like I was excited. You know what I mean? Like I can't believe I get to watch a Kachuk Bennett Marchand line. Like that's
Yeah.
disgusting. That's
That's a
disgusting to deal with.
greasy line, man. Good players. Yeah.
They're gonna shit talk you on the ice, off the ice, in the box, out of the box. They're the best. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, you were spot on. Huge Cats fans here. We got a lot of Cats content and everything. Now talk to us about this photo here. You got 5 defenders. You rocking this one guy here. I mean, what's going on in this game?
That's in Norway. That's in our rival in Oslo. So I played in a team right around the Oslo area, and the other team was, yeah. I mean, this was more common. I had the puck a lot more in Norway. The league probably is a little bit a step down from the German league. So I
Okay, so
scored a
you're
lot
solid
more in
here.
that league.
Right.
Had the puck a lot more. There's a lot more pictures like this of me in Germany. There's a lot more pictures of me without the puck, but it's the way
If
it
you
is. You know?
and be honest, James, if you had to go back and choose right now, making it to the NHL or where you're sitting right now today, which would you do?
Man, it's surprising nobody's ever asked me that question. Of
What's
all
your
these
real
conversations I've
fucking
had, even with athletes that call me, nobody's ever asked me that question. And you
'cause I'm the
know,
big fucking daddy. I gotta know.
I actually, because nobody's ever asked me that question, I don't know, because I always say that I wouldn't have done anything differently, because when I can freely talk about my hockey career
Yeah.
and say that like I wasn't good enough. That's why I didn't make it. Like I'm not the guy that's gonna sit here and go like, you talk to a lot of athletes, like I got hurt, I got fucked, the coach hated me, you know,
Right.
I got divorced with my
Bunch of
wife,
bullshit.
and it's like I just didn't make it because I wasn't good enough. So I'm at peace with that. So I would say if I wouldn't have went to Europe, if I would have made it to the NHL, I would have never ended up in Europe. So I would have never started trading. So I wouldn't even be sitting here. Right. So like
Butterfly effect. Right. The butterfly
yeah,
effect.
exactly. I always say the butterfly effect, but you know, I love that, but nobody knows what I'm talking about usually. But
Fucking
if
love that movie.
things didn't happen the way they did, I wouldn't be here. And so, and also, I don't think I would have been here if I hadn't played hockey either, because like I learned it's the same personality traits that make you successful in trading that made me successful, you know, in hockey. It's like, hey, I'm gonna make it. I don't care if I'm, you know, some statistic that says I shouldn't make it. I'm gonna
Right.
figure out a way to make it, right?
Yeah.
And it's the same kind of like grit, perseverance that we talked about. Kind of like fuck you attitude that
Hell yeah.
that got me here. So man, if you're saying if I had a 20-year NHL career versus like being where I am, I don't know, man. I think like, if you would have asked me that in 2010, I'd be like, that's easy. But now
Right.
I'm saying like I wouldn't have had it any different, man. Like I really wouldn't have. But it's a great question. I haven't even thought about it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, you know, as a professional athlete, like there's always got to be that what if, and now you're sitting right here at the throne of the prop space, and you know, it's like, damn, would you give that? You know, and I think that's a great question as well, and I was really excited to hear your answer on that one, and I kind of want to push into. I know we don't want to take up so much of your night because we're gonna just talk hockey all fucking night long, baby. But real quick, I want to kind of move into TPT again, and like, can we talk the future a little bit? And I just want to jump into, has there been any conversation? I know this brings on a lot more risk for you guys, and you seem like you got a very level head, and it's like, yeah, I'm not gonna bring on the risk if it's gonna put my company in jeopardy. But have you guys ever worked the numbers on possibly allowing more than 5 accounts?
Yeah, we have, and that's something that's pretty high up there with looking at the you know, the risk and the risk analysis. And the reason that it's hard to do that is because we've never allowed more than 5 accounts before. So it's hard to say that everybody's going to do the exact same thing 10 accounts they do today with 5 accounts. So it's not always easy to just like, okay, let's double it. And like, let's say if we doubled everything, this is what it would look like. Because then when people double it, maybe they start trading differently, right? So there's these variables that in a perfect world, you're able to make changes and change one variable. Then you've got to think that, wait a minute, like if we change that variable, we think it's one variable, but then, Llama and Max, they trade differently now. So the numbers aren't actually the same. And now I end up, what I don't want to do is what I see other firms doing sometimes, and I know it drives the traders crazy, is have to put something out there and have to pull it back. I really am really against doing that. So these things again are like meticulous conversations. We have a very big team that works in data analytics, and it is something that's on our radar. And I know that sounds like kind of like a roundabout cop-out answer, but it's definitely something we're looking at, because if you remember, we used to be 1, then we were 3, now we're 5. The progression would be further. I do think that with the pro resets and the leverage and the movement, to your point earlier, the movement in the markets, I think you would think people would YOLO less, but I think it would be just my hypothesis is people would YOLO even more because it's even a bigger
for sure.
So I don't know, man. Again, you're asking great questions, and these are things that I think about. We talk about, 3-4 times a week. I mean, we had a 3-hour call today as a team discussing, different rule changes, and you got to think again from the business eyes is like, what will this do? What variables could that potentially change? How could that piss off Max and Llama? Like, if they're think about a pro account user right now, like what would he be thinking about that? I try to think as a trader because I was one. And how can I make it better for you, but sustainable for us? That's the end game for me. Like the rules, as more firms has become more competitive, it's been unbelievable for the trader because the rules are so much better because they have to be. It's competition,
100%.
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's getting better for the trader. So how can we make it better for the trader, better for the trader, but also sustainable for the company? That's what I look at the ceiling at night, looking up at the ceiling and going like, if I change that, how it's better for the trader, but is it sustainable? Okay, this is sustainable for us, but is it really better for the trader? So these conversations that I'm always like, kind of wrestling with.
Yeah, my brother's Ball Dan's here in the chat, and he said competition equals innovation, and he's 100% correct in this forever changing, which is becoming a very saturated space. You guys have to know that you are in a good position, right? Like you're not one of these firms that are just getting dogged, one of these new firms coming out of the gate hot with, and then pulling back the curtain on rules and everything. And there's specific ones right now that are just under fire, big time. And there's other firms implementing things like Tradeify. Like if you associate with a firm that goes under within like 100 days, we're going to remove your affiliation with us and ban you from ours because you're looking, you're bad for the prop space as a whole. And there's also been talk about you and the other owners coming together and coming up with your own in-house regulatory system. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, we've been on like some preliminary discussions, but I can tell you right now, at least from our vantage point, like that's got no legs as of right now. At least like if it does, I don't know about it. So and you probably get that I'm pretty straightforward with you guys. And the thing is that there's some legal issues with it. There is some stuff that I'll say again from a business perspective is there are a lot of shady individuals and I'm not talking about businesses, I'm talking about the customers now. There are some shady customers out there doing things that if we could collaborate collectively and do that and help weed that out, that would be better for the entire industry, because then there would only be like legitimate people doing legitimate things, and that
legitimate
that's
business,
what we all want, right? But just like most things, is it starts with the best intentions, but where does it stop? And I think that that's what kind of frustrates the traders and like, yeah, that's great. You're stopping some shithead that steals somebody's credit card, and that's where it starts. But then you start collaborating and banning people because like he beat firm XYZ for too much money, so now he's banned to take profit trader 2. And like, I don't want to be associated with an organization that's doing shit like that. So like, while we would get into it with an intention of like stopping fraud, it's better for everybody. It's better for the trader. It's better for the companies. Like, where does it go from there? And do I get roped into something that like, you know what? I think you get where I'm going with this.
100% agree. Right. If you could, right, the bad apples, you know what I mean? We have it too. Obviously, we have the luxury to get rid of them without any repercussion. We run everything for free here, and you're running a business. But yeah, I mean, if you have, and it sucks because in our industry, it only takes one bad business to throw shade over the whole industry, and for us, one bullshit trader to screw us all over, and like fraudulent people, the scammers, the people that are hedging you guys against other firms and things like that. If you could figure out a way to get rid of all those dirtbags, yeah, it's good business, and that is better for everybody. 100%.
Yeah. I mean, and that's one of these like, I think most people in life and most things, and I'm not here to sit on the soapbox, think that it's like everything is black and white. Man, this world is so gray. There are like advantages of having an organization like that, and then there's like the other side of it, it's terrible. And it's like, it's this gray, blurry like line. And so the decision we made to take profit is we're kind of going to stay to ourselves, do what we can to run the business the way we think is best for the customers. And ultimately, like, if we get bigger, great. If we don't, like, we know it's sustainable, great. And that's kind of how we think about it, but we're not eminently like joining any organization or anything like that. The only thing that we would like to get rid of is some of the fraud, and that's why we put KYC, for instance, on the front. Is people are doing working in groups and trying to have their mom, their sister, their dog, and everybody coming through, and then they're actually all trading from the same IP, and there's a lot of stuff out there, and I would like to get that down, because then again, think about it from our perspective. If we could get rid of that, then maybe I can make a rule better, because I'm not hemorrhaging money by somebody that's either 100%. Cheating, lying, charging back, like, all of these different things that I have to weigh too. Is like, money's going out the door and chargebacks from people that are just stealing credit cards.
What
and
percentage? What percentage do you think of reserves you guys are like seeing come out like that? And is it larger is it larger than we know, or if you don't want to say, obviously, but
no, I mean, it's not like a crazy amount, but it's like, like when you're talking about percentages, it's small, but it's still like it can become a large amount of money over the course of a year.
Right.
So like,
yeah, if you're doing $30 million a month, $50 million a month in business, and it's 2%, it's like, holy shit, we're bleeding seven figures here because of fraudsters and scammers, and that's terrible.
Right. So that's the thing, and it's just like, there are ways. The technology is getting better, and you're seeing more and more like risk technology, like regulatory agencies are going to want to see it. Again, these things are better. I know that they're annoying, because they're annoying for me too when I'm signing up for a sports book and they want to know my, everything about me. And if we want to get paid, they want to know this. And like, the reason you do it is because, the feds, these people want to see that, hey, this guy is this guy, and we know he's this guy, and this is his address, and everything is legit. Great. Like, knock yourself out, and we're going to do great together. I just need, and the other firms need to get the bullshit out of there. And it's an ongoing battle.
For sure. And it always will be. I mean, we deal with it on a different level. You guys are dealing with it on a professional level in your industry. And it's unfortunate that you're just going to have if those pieces of shit took half the effort that they take into being scumbags and just doing the right thing, they might be fucking profitable. They might just.
You and I'd get along well, man. I say the same shit. I'm like, man, if these people just worked a little bit harder at like half as hard as they do at scamming. But the same shit would happen in sport too. Like
fucking pieces of shit. Right.
They'd dope up or shoot up, and
Right.
I'm like, dude, just work out and stop trying to cheat so bad. You'd probably be better off anyway.
Fucking quit trying, ruining the game. And that's what it is. It's just people. There's always going to be someone who's trying to ruin the fucking game, and that's the that's the unfortunate piece of it. Now, let me ask you this: you guys are, I mean, in my mind, you guys are crushing it. I fucking see on my back end, I understand you guys are crushing it. I haven't been with TPT for a long time. Llama brought me to TPT. He was the one, he was adamant. I only trade TPT. I only rock TPT. I love everything about this brand. I'm not changing. You need to come rock TPT. And I was like, all right, I'll try it. And after like
and then he got a jacket and I didn't.
And then your people love me, Sixer. They love me. They're like, Big Daddy Max, fucking get him what he wants. And then Llama was like, can I get some merch or something? And they were like, no, fuck you, you're fat and gay. And then they were like, Big Daddy Max. And literally the next week, I got 2 polos and a fresh ass hoodie. So really appreciate that, boys. I really appreciate that.
I'll get you a hoodie. How about that? I'll get you some stuff.
Oh, well, do you guys
make
how about you reset a pro account? How's that sound?
Yeah. Do you guys make a 14X? Because I don't know if it'd fit in a fucking hoodie, to be honest. What are you gonna have to do? Skin a whale and fucking make them? I don't know if that's gonna work, to be honest. Real quick,
that pity hoodie. That was pure pity.
I just want to give you one shot at redemption here. You said something in an interview that's been bothering me the entire time. Panthers are going to win the Stanley Cup in how many games? I mean, come on. I mean, Connor McDavid deserves it. We all know he deserves it.
Right.
And
he almost got banned.
And McDavid and Hyman and Skinner, these guys are putting on a show in Edmonton, but like Cats in 5, right?
If the Cats get it done, I think it's in 6 or 7, but I don't know, man. Like, it's going to be tight.
I mean, we're up 3-1. I'm definitely feeling good and confident we close out Carolina and we're going to the Cup. Edmonton and Dallas, what a series. They're looking scary. I think we're going to see a repeat. Oilers, Cats.
I think so too.
So, I mean, and I don't think there's going to be any change. The only change is we're going to win in 5 this year. All right. We'll come back to that one. We're working them in. We're working them. We're greasing them. We're getting them there. Fucking rat style, baby. So let's talk. I mean, you guys are a titan in the industry. It's such a badass to be able to chat with you, fucking pro athlete turned. I mean, you could just tell that you're an intelligent business guy and you're like business first. And I think that's awesome from the entrepreneur standpoint. I've opened several businesses. I got this one and a couple of, and it's always great to be like, this guy puts business first. And I can feel that. And I think that's phenomenal. And it's very reassuring for me and for everyone who's listening to be like, this guy's not going to fuck up and make it so I'm not getting that payout. Like, I feel very confident that you guys are not only going to be around, but you're going to pay out every single day. And I think that's still unbelievable. But like, let's talk now about the future. Because since I joined TPT, since Llama was like, fucking come try TPT, nothing's changed. Like nothing. You guys have a solid program.
They got rid of daily drawdown.
That was like that when I first joined in like January. They had just got rid of daily drawdown and activation fees. That was like the big thing. I think it was like January, February. No activation fees. DLL's gone. But nothing's really changed. And I'm a firm believer if it's not broken, don't fix it. But are you guys talk to us about a little bit about some of the plans, what you can talk about? Like what are you guys coming out with? Is there a P&L calendar coming out in the future? Is there something new on the back end, the front end? Can you kind of give us some sauce here? Spill some sauce.
The P&L calendar is cool.
Yeah,
fucking sauce.
I think part of the conversation we started with was like what's wrong with customer service and those delays of people getting back to people because we are so reliant on third parties, and part of that is you guys mentioned Trade of 8 and I had mentioned that too, but it's not just them. It could be like a payment process or somebody like that's like non-trading related, that all of this stuff works together. The payment triggers the the automation, and this happens and that happens, and there could be things that go wrong along the way. But to de-risk us, because that's what we're always trying to do, de-risk us, is we are going to come out with a new solution here very shortly, where it's a new platforms and a completely different system than what other people use. Now I know some of your people have been with Top Step and they're like Project X. It's not like Project X.
Heard a lot about Project X. Heard a lot about It's not
Project X. It's going to be a different solution with new platforms. Now, some of the platforms will move, like, so if you're a rhythmic guy because you like Sierra, that'll move over, right,
Right.
to to the new model, but it'll be more mobile platforms, which I don't think the trader even knows yet that he wants, and that's a big thing for me. Is like, I think some traders love Tradeovate because they can do on the mobile, I guess. But this
Right.
will have more mobile compatibility. So, if you guys are trading and you want to go pick up your kids, or you want to go to the beach, or you want to go work out, you can be looking at your phone on like something that's native, where there's not, again, um, multiple layers, because a lot of these problems that we're talking about that flow downstream happen because, remember, like, the CME sits up here, and then the market data goes to the broker, and then that comes down, and like by the time it
Right.
gets to you, the end user, there's 7 spots that it can fail in the middle, right?
Right.
So in order to like it's going to alleviate some of the problems that we're having, and that's causing some of the issues, with customer service, because there are just so many things that are out of our hands that now will be in our hands. And I'm not saying it's going to be perfect on day one, because anything that's new and not everybody else is tested, because essentially, like, if you're at one prop firm and they're using Tradeovate, everybody's using the same, basically the same infrastructure. It's kind of been tested
Right.
out. So we've done our testing on it. We think it's ready. It's going to have, one thing I'm, super excited about is, I know trade copiers and stuff like that are really important to traders. There'll be some like native compatibility with that, inside the dashboard. Like, there's a lot of
Easier for trade copiers. Are you working directly with a third party trade copier? Or are you developing your own?
it'll be some, like, when it does come out, and again, this is still in development. This won't be available day one, but like,
Right.
there will be availability to do that natively. So like, let's say you have account 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You can link up the accounts right in TPT's dashboard. You don't have to do it actually at the trading platform and stuff like that. So there's a lot of things that I'm excited about, because again, it's what I think that the
Right.
traders want, and it's gonna, again, I don't want to give too much away. It is coming. I'm not worried about talking about now, because it's coming pretty soon.
Cool. Cool.
In the next couple weeks, to a select group of people before we roll it out like mass,
Right.
across
Gotta do your beta
everybody.
testing.
Yeah, so yeah, exactly. It's a small beta test, and so that's why I'm willing to give a little bit more information, even though it's
Right.
not really out there yet. But it's just, again, so that we're not reliant, right? Because like, we love our vendors, everybody uses them for a reason. They do well, but like, we don't want to be, we want to control a little bit more of
Yeah.
the flow, so that when there's problems, at least like, I can be like, Sixer, you fucked up. Like, and I
Right.
can't, I don't have, I don't have, somebody, I'm in control of my own destiny, instead of like having to chase
Yeah.
down somebody, and then my reputation is being tarnished in something that I can't fix. And again, this isn't always on the trading side either. This can be on the payment side. So I'm not trashing any of the vendors either, but like, the more control I have of it, the better I know that I can, do for the customers, because then I'm in control of it.
Right.
So yeah, that's what we got coming
When
down the pipe. And it'll be, I think a couple more weeks before there'll be a beta test, but it'll be coming soon.
That's badass. When I first started this brand back in 2020, I was very upset with like Discord automations and these third-party companies that would just fucking rape you on charges. 5% for this, 2% for that, and just fees, 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 and it drove me nuts. So I actually got in contact with a very, very intelligent developer who I said, all of these third-party integrations, my emails, my indicators, my automation, my Discord, I want it all in-house. I want the functionality built in-house. I don't want to be outsourcing all of these things. Can we do this? And he said, yes. And after about 6 months of development work, all of that functionality was brought into the behind the scenes, and I had full control over everything. And it was so good that he actually went off and created a company called Stan. And Stan is one of the largest company, the same automations and everything. His name's Vitali. He's a friend of mine, but that developer, he went off and built a 40 million recurring revenue platform called Stan, where he takes integrations like that, third parties, and connects them to one sales source, kind of like a Linktree or something like that, where you can take everything and bring it in house. So what you guys are doing and what you just said, I understand wholeheartedly. Now, a lot of people might not, but when you have control and that third party integration, you're knocking out the report delay, which is going to help trickle down all of those processes. We're skipping skip 1 through 7, and now that might take 50% of my fucking support tickets away. And so I hear that and I'm like, you're making moves, right? I understand that. So if you guys didn't understand what he just said, it's pretty badass when you're bringing those integrations in house like that. And you have total control because, like he said, the trickle down effect. You can skip steps 1 through 7, and you could start nipping step 7 out right in the ass at one time.
Yeah. So instead of 1,000 tickets, there might be like 50 tickets, right? Or 25 tickets. So like then you get back to the customer service that we expect, and that's really like the play there. But it's also going to give the traders more options too, which is really cool. So it's not like we don't do anything. It's not like black and white, one reason and the other, but it's going to be like a shift to, hey, a better environment for the traders because they're going to get quicker responses because there's going to be less problems, and it's in totality it's better, and it's better for the customer, and it'll make us less reliant. You're always going to be somewhat reliant because like the CME holds the data close to the vest because they it's a big revenue source for them, so you're never going to be completely integrated, but like it's less so, and like we're really pumped about it. I think you guys
you're never going to be really integrated, but let me ask you a question. I don't know if you answer this or not, but I'm actually interested in this. Do you guys ever feel like you may be getting squeezed by some of your larger third-party platforms? Like if they switch their business model, you're kind of under the gun, right? And like, let's just say Ninja or Trado just decide to switch models. You kind of are in that I have to play ball field, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that anytime you're reliant as a business, like too much on one person, it's never good. But like, to do them a solid too, like they always do what they say they're gonna do, right? And like they're gonna have mistakes because they got a ton of people on their platforms too. So mistakes are gonna be made, but like they're not like shady people where they're ready to pull the rug. Like I don't worry about them pulling the rug. They're too big, for that.
Dude,
but like it's always a risk because like how money is. It's like, hey, if there's more money to be made over here, we're gonna change it, and then like maybe that screws up the the prop firm business model. But I don't think it's too big of a deal. And you see other prop firms like having their own stuff too to kind of like de-risk themselves a little bit from being at one vendor.
Right. Okay, badass. So new platform dropping relatively soon. Easy access trade copier coming soon, and bringing in some integrations in house. I mean, this is all great shit that you guys are innovating and making moves. What else is in the works? I mean, we're 2025. We're halfway through the year. There's got to be some big shit coming, baby.
Yeah, I mean, again, we probably don't go as fast as others, but we want to make it sustainable. So. I don't really have a whole lot else, guys. I know we talked a lot of shit for hockey. I do have to jump here shortly. So
yeah, no problem. Yeah, no, we had a great time chatting with you, brother. It's been nice to fucking pleasure to meet you. Before I let you go, I mean, I really got to put you under the gun here. Really got to.
Come on, Max.
14 broken.
You know what to ask him.
14 broken noses. I don't give a fuck. You could take a punch. We are a community that's given back $107,000, and we need to know how many accounts can I give away right now? Be honest with me. I mean,
20 150K accounts right now.
150K accounts. James motherfucking Sixsmith. He was prepped. He was ready. Someone briefed him. He didn't came in light. The chat's going fucking crazy. Holy shit. The chat's going crazy.
Now we're talking.
We got a full.
We're talking.
We got a full ECHL rink right here with 300 people. The chat is going crazy. The guy just hit an overtime winner. Someone said, "Fuck me, Jesus Christ." The chat is going nuts. Big James Sixer.
Yeah, he said 150 pro accounts, guys. 150 pros.
Unbelievable. 150K pro plus accounts. You guys heard it here, right?
Get the fuck out of here.
100.
He said he's giving out 50 pro plus resets.
Pro plus resets right now. Code James. No.
Look at Kendrick.
That
was crazy.
James, you are a fucking legend, dude. It was an honor and a privilege to finally meet you and chat with you, brother. Listen, just talking to you is super comforting, and know that TPT is under the right direction, helm, and you're a business first guy who makes logical and reasonable decisions. You seem like you have direction with you're going with this amazing company. I don't know if you can get Llama a hoodie. That would mean the world to him, because he literally is your biggest fan. If you need us to find a house that's being, tented from termites, we can get the material for you, or whatever you really need. Let us know.
You need to get in a fight with Max here, man. Like, you need to.
We fight every day.
I'm 6'9". I'll whoop his fucking ass. Seriously, I'm 6'9". You wouldn't know about that, James. You're 5'4".
Yeah, that's true. Hey guys,
Yeah,
listen, I had a great time. I love doing this. Like, we could talk hockey all day. I'd love to come on more often and shoot shit with you guys. It's fun.
Absolutely, brother. It was a pleasure. Guys, let's put some TPTs in the chat for the CEO of Take Profit Trader, the brand that's taken over the prop space. Let's give it up for our friend, Mr. Sixer, right here. James, we appreciate you a ton, brother. Thank you so much.
Thanks, boys. Appreciate you guys.
Appreciate you, bro.
And let's
appreciate you.
Now the fun
Do me a favor.
Now the fun begins.
Get off my stage. I had to kick his ass.
Now the fun begins.
Had to kick his ass.
We got 20 motherfucking 150s to give away. Winner number 1 is Salty Sea. Number 2, Hummingbird Trader Mom. Number 3, Juan Corona. Number 4, Quay. 5, Brown. Crazy Mary, congratulations. Montiel. Number 9,
Jaylee Perkins. No.
You are the winner of account number 11, the Riz Lord, the Lone Wolf of Wall Street. Mama, get your boy in here. Watch this. Watch this. She's gonna twerk. You win, girl. You win, Jessica. Open a support ticket.
It was kind of moving.
Congratulations, guys. Open up a support ticket, you 15 winners, and everyone's a winner here at the Traders and Haters podcast, the worst trading podcast in the world. We appreciate you all. Guys, remember, nothing we do is financial advice. Please like, comment, and subscribe. We love you all. We're nothing without you guys. Remember that. You are the heart and soul of what we do. We are on an unbelievable winning streak. I actually traded Power Hour on my accounts and made about 2 bands, so up about 2,000 on the day. Feeling pretty good. I took a long at the crazy long. I think Logan and the boys killed it today on fucking Power Hour, which was great. I apologize for this morning's show. We were trying to sniff some shit out, which definitely worked. And we were doing hearing tests and a bunch of stuff. So we had a lot of fun this morning. I can't wait to see the clips of us just laughing. It was one of the funnest shows that I think we've ever had. So we love you all. Big shout out to Take Profit Trader, guys. TPT, our sponsor, and the guest, James Sixsmith, the legend, professional athlete turned CEO. The guy is straight shot, cool as a cucumber. The guy was awesome, and it was such a privilege and an honor to chat with him and everybody that came to support the TPT show. And we appreciate you guys. And also, don't forget, check out the courses, check out the staff. If you want to tip the staff, check out fucking all the free things, all the indicators, do everything. And we appreciate you guys. And as always, the only thing that we ask, is that if you're going to sign up for TPT, use code BDM or P2P. That is it, y'all. That's it for Big Daddy Max. Llama, great show, brother.
Guys, another show in the books. Episode 17 fucking killed it. Just broke over 110,000 in giveaways. Broke our streak today. Whatever. Called over 250 points. Everyone ate. It is what it is. Streaks don't matter. Consistency is what matters. Discipline's what matters, guys.
They officially call that we closed our streak and we call it a red day?
It was you, bro. You're the captain of the ship, bro. Your stupid ass called it as a loss, even though everyone fucking ate.
I wasn't sure if they were going to do it or not. I mean, I'll leave it up to the chat. We'll leave it up to the chat or the people. We'll do a vote. We'll do a vote tomorrow, right before the show starts. I'm technically up 2 bands on the day, to be completely transparent. I'm technically up 2 bands.
I ended the day up a band per account.
So we'll see. We'll see what they say tomorrow. Let's leave it up to them. I was up 1,500 and I let it go completely red and YOLO'd it, but we'll see. If they say it's a loss, it's a loss. I will respect it, and we will start the streak back over. It is what it is.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. Not a big deal. I don't care about that.
Right.
But guys, like we said, huge shout out to TPT. They gave us 250K accounts. Wow, that's my face tatted on someone's back. They wow. Thank you to TPT. Guys, code BDM, code P2P, code BDM on every fucking prop firm. TPT is the only one I'm affiliated with. Just signed up, ready to learn. Terry T, welcome to Pay to Play University, guys. If you guys do want to learn how to do what we do, Mastermind students, Mastermind course, Futures One course, Pay to Play University. If you want to learn direct one-on-one coaching, we got Maestro, we got Javi, we got Logan, we got Max, we got me, we got fucking Shark, we got Sean, we got Jake, everyone. You can learn any type of trading here. Max has special discounts for crypto trading that if he could teach you how to trade crypto. And guys, it was a fucking pleasure, guys. It was a fucking pleasure. We'll be back tomorrow. Love y'all. I'm out of here. You're gay.